What is going on, everyone? My name is Joseph Reynolds, and today joining me is Mrs. Shanelle the Nightmare Dyer, head of PFL Dublin. Obviously, it's been a brilliant year for you so far, but how are you feeling about this year in general, and then as well, just for this fight coming up as well?
Yeah, so this has probably been like the perfect year on paper. Like I turned pro this year. I'm 3-0, and I fought on one of the biggest jiu-jitsu stages in the whole world per hours. So like in the professional athlete point of view, this is probably the best year I could ever have, career wise, starting my pro career. So I'm over the moon, man. I put in the work, so everyone's getting to see what I can truly do over the course of those three fights, and I'm hopefully gonna end the year strong on the fourth win up in Dublin.
No, 100%. And as well, people are known just from your amateur career alone after the Four Nations performance that you were sure to have a good pro career. But did you quite expect it to sort of go the way it has? Obviously, there was a viral KO on Hexagon. There was
Yeah.
another great KO on PFL. There's been the documentary on Sky and then the London Fashion Week as well. All these different things. Did you expect it to be quite like this so quickly, or was this something you'd always sort of been prepared for?
Yes and no, yes and no. Like obviously, coming through the game, you always hear the pro career is going to be quite slow starting for a lot of people, and a lot of people that's the reality. Like the beginning of your pro career is going to be slow. You're gonna fight at local shows for hardly any money. You're gonna try do ticket sales, and it's like you kind of have to grind it out, and it's gonna be a slow but worth it journey in the end. But for me, it was like kind of the opposite. It was like it's literally been the perfect year, and I put it down to I've turned pro this year, but I've been in martial arts, combat sports for about 10 years now. Like I've put in the work, I put in the miles to make sure that when I do turn pro, that it's gonna be this year. So I basically manifested it since I started fighting and training when I was 9 years old. I put in the work from 9 years old. So when I do turn pro in MMA, when I do turn pro, eventually in the future, that this is 100% gonna happen. And I said it from the get go when my amateur career ended that when my pro career starts, when I get that first win, then I'm gonna blow up from there. Because I knew how good I was. I just need the eyes on me, and I'm so glad that I got the eyes on me. With that first KO in Hexagon, people start noticing who I am, looking through my Insta, and even like my last fight, it went three rounds, which I'm actually happy it went 3 rounds because people can actually see I'm actually a great fighter. What I can actually do in 50 minutes. I'm not just throwing my hands and legs about and hoping for the finish. No, I can actually put a fight a fight plan and come up with good training and showing off in the fight.
Yeah, and as well, obviously, throughout your amateur career in MMA, and then outside of that, obviously, you've been in combat sports for a very long
Mm.
time. But do you feel as though there was sort of a one pivotal moment for you throughout that journey that told you that this is what you want to do in your life, or is it always just sort of been from the get-go that this is what you've always wanted since pretty much starting?
When I started, it was kind of like more like a hobby type of thing. I always say that my dad got us into sports to keep us busy, keep us around the great role models, and basically not and basically keep us off the streets. And I just loved it from the beginning, but I never really thought of it as a career wise until I was about 18 years old. I was in college and I had a meeting with my teacher, and he was like, "Okay, where do we go from here? Like, are you gonna go uni? What's your job aspirations?" I don't really know what I wanted to do. All I want knew that what I wanted to do was not to work a 9 to 5 and have a normal job. I love the freedom too much to have those type of jobs. So I plan to take a gap year. I went to Thailand, and that the one thing I loved in life is fighting. And then I started MMA that year, and I fought in my first fight in the April, and I got like a viral finish, first round TKO, and I got like so much love and clout off of that. And that I think that was the moment where when I won and I got my hand raised, I only done MMA for 4 months. Like, wow, I can actually do this as a career. Like people actually like I got so much love off of that fight that I can actually do that as a career.
Yeah, and when you did decide to finally start that career in MMA and that was what you wanted, did you have that full support from you from behind since the start? I know you mentioned in terms of sort of the love and then obviously the eyes that were on you after that finish, but when actually saying that that's the career you wanted to do and not sort of the general stuff that people had expect, how was that sort of taken in by others that were close to you, or has it always had that sort of big support circle around you throughout your career?
I always had that big support circle, especially like my family why is that they supported anything that we wanted to do from the get-go, because obviously they didn't really have the opportunities that growing up. Their parents are really like they're really traditional. I'll say so. They want them to have like a proper secure jobs. Whereas my parents, they're really creative. My dad, he wanted to be a footballer. He wanted to pursue sports. Mum, she wanted to do something creative. But their parents was really like traditional, so they ended up getting normal jobs. So when they had kids, they didn't want them to go through that traditional route. They want to explore and do what they love for a living, and that's what they're doing with us. So when I said I wanted to be a fighter, there was a bit because I could have been anything in the world, and I decided to be a fighter, get punched in the face for a living. So there was a bit, especially MMA. Like when I told my dad that I was doing MMA, I kept it kind of a secret in the beginning, beginner stage. When I actually told him I'm doing MMA, he was kind of like, oh, he wasn't 100% fan of the sport because of obviously he just sees the brutality of it, the cuts, the injuries, like the broken arms and stuff. So he wasn't 100% keen on me doing it. But the second he's seen me training and fighting, you can see that the look in my eyes, the dedication that I actually want to do this, and I'm actually smart. I'm not just going there and just scrapping. I actually have like proper game plans. I'm actually good at this, good at it enough not to get like high injuries and stuff like that. So they've been a support base from the beginning.
Yeah, and then as well throughout the pro career, another big thing is just sort of being able to sort of tell your story a bit more and letting people really get to sort of know little bits about yourself. But how has that sort of been to see your story be told and being able to start really inspiring people in using combat sports, something of which you love? And how has that sort of been to just see throughout your progression as a pro fighter?
That's amazing. Like I always say, like being a fighter, martial artist is that it could be hard some days, and just getting like small messages off of that, like I'm a big fan, and just that small messages, it just really fuels you and motivates you to be the best that you can be. Because I especially me, I started martial arts when I was a kid, 9, 10, 11 years old, and like the role models that I had in my gym fueled me to become who I am today. So I want to emulate that and be the person, be the role models I had when I was younger, and even better to motivate the younger generation that I literally came where you came, and you can do the same thing I'm doing if you just put the hard work and dedication in.
Yeah, and then as well, I think it's something outside of sport that it is quite obvious to see you're a fan of is obviously anime. So
Yeah.
at the moment, what would you say are some of those top animes you've been watching? And is there any that you sort of even drawn inspiration from yourself that you've been able to apply to your own MMA career as well?
Literally, like anime is like another love of mine. It's literally fighting or anime, fighting and anime. From like the beginnings, it's like the motivation is giving me, like especially at Naruto. There's so many like stories that they tell that you can like really take motivation from. Like obviously, like never giving up, like the bonds that they have. I can really take inspiration from just watching those scenes, and obviously like the fight scenes. Like when I was younger, I always said to like my best friend, when I was younger, I always wanted to be like a real life anime character. And what was the closest thing to becoming the real life anime character is to become a martial artist. And that's what I done. Like in the beginning when I was younger, I used to like play fight in the playground with my friend, try to be like these anime characters, and then go to the gym after school and do the same thing. So anime has been a really cool part of my life as well. It's like especially like it's good to have another passion other than fighting, because if you're just thinking about fighting 24/7, it can really take a toll in your mind and mental health. So like the second I get home, like I'm not a fighter, I'm literally an anime nerd. The second I get home, so it's really good on my mental health that I can kind of escape reality and get transported to a new world, different world. I'm not living in the world when I'm watching anime. I'm living in the different world, which I think is actually really cool. Brings out my creative side as well. I try to emulate the moves from anime in the gym. It doesn't really work out as much, but it's fun to do. What I'm watching now is there's not a lot of in the new seasons really out. What I'm watching now is Jujutsu Kaisen. The new season is like it's amazing. I'm reading One Piece, obviously, chapter like 1100, but we're still going strong. There's only another like 500 chapters left, but we still move. It's still one of the best ever. Reading Boruto as well. Don't hate me, I am reading Boruto just to see whatever they're coming up with. So yeah, just try to catch up as much as I can, read as much as I can.
Yeah, and then you mentioned in terms of having that escapism as well, in terms of
Yeah,
when you get outside the cage, you're no longer a fighter. You've got that sort of
yeah.
anime there and different things. But how important do you feel that is for you, especially considering sort of the big rise that you had and the big comparison from the amateur career to pro career? And how important do you feel as though that has been for you to have those outlets that are sort of outside and don't focus too much on MMA?
Yeah, it's I think it's really important to keep busy and keep a mind off things. If you keep overthinking and stressing about it, it's just I always say to myself, there's no point stressing. Like stressing is not gonna make anything go away or anything better. Just try to escape. That second, like what I really like about like my house, like the second I get home, I'm not fighter Chanel. I'm sister Chanel, daughter Chanel. I'm literally just a normal person, and that really keeps me humble as well. I'm literally nothing special. I always say to myself, I'm literally nothing special. I'm literally like one of you. I'm just literally a normal person. Like I do this amazing thing. It's like when a lot of people say, "Oh, you do like MMA, you're doing amazing things." I'm literally just like, it's like a job to me. It's fun. It's nothing special. I'm just literally a normal person.
Yeah, and then as well, just to sort of go back to obviously PFL Dublin, the free arena, in terms of looking there and what you're looking to showcase once again and make that big statement to close out the year, what is it that you
Yeah.
are really wanting to show inside the cage this time around?
I definitely want to get finished this time. I started the year strong with two strong finishes. I've shown what I can actually do in a 3 round fight. In my last fight, I got to show a bit of what who Shanelle Dyer actually is in my last fight. But I think it's time for another. It's a time for another stoppage, first round, early stoppage. That's what I'm known for. And I like stoppages. I'm an aggressive fighter. I always look for the stoppage. My last fight, I was really timid, not in a way that that I couldn't stop her. I knew 100%, like all my coaches, everyone knew I could stop her if I really wanted to. But I didn't really feel the need to, but 100% feel the need to finish the year with another viral finish.
100%. And then just a final thing from me is just a message to the people that are always tuning into your fights. Obviously, if anyone's watched your fights before, they've seen all the people that come and watch and
Yeah.
support those fights as well. But just a final thing to say to those before the fight.
Just literally that every fight I'm in is exciting, it's explosive. I can create a million highlight reels off of my fights. Like I'm not in the boring fight, and anyone who watches my fights know then, and any new fans that's going to be in Dublin, just be prepared for one of the explosive fights in the whole night.
100%. Well, that is everything from me. If you'd like to take a chance at your sponsors, teammates, coaches, things like that, obviously feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, so shout out my sponsors, Vigorate, Scramble Brand, Kimura Performance, and Provide Security. I couldn't be in this position without you, Zot. Thank you for your support. Thank you for my team down at the Nosy Academy and GB Top Team, all my coaches, Barry Boxing, Ash Grimshaw, Brad Pickett, and the Nosy Academy, Christian Knowles, Rory Lynn as well, my SNC coach. And yeah, everyone, all my shout out all my fans and supporters as well. Like, I do it because of you, Zot. So shout out you, Zot, too.
No, 100%. And as well, always a fighter to tune into one of the biggest talents we've got in the UK at the moment and always knows how to predict the fights as well. But I really appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
No, absolute pleasure. Thank you.